Hello ladies and gentlemen, An Idiot Imports is sponsored by PlayAsia, and this copy of the game you're about to see probably came from them as part of their sponsorship deal, unless I very specifically say it didn't in the video. If you want to support this series, use the link in the description to go to PlayAsia and buy an item or two. It'll help me out and increase the budget I get for import games. You can also use the coupon code BLUEVITA at checkout to save a bit of money, but it won't count towards my sales if you don't use that link. Either way, thanks for your support and enjoy the show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Touhou Sky Arena, Matsuri Climax. If my voice sounds a little bit off, I'm sorry, something literally is just screwing with my throat today and I'm not sure why. This is a one-on-one fight, well actually it's not a one-on-one fighting game, it can be 2-on-2 or 1-on-3 or whatever, but a up to 4 player fighting game. Very similar to that other one that came out, and every time I try and think of it, I think of Touhou Double Focus, or Touhou Double Focus, whichever one, and I can't for the life of me remember the actual name of the one I'm thinking. Touhou Kabuto V, Burst Battle, that's the one. However, this one is actually miles better for multiple different reasons, so let's go have a look around before we actually get too far into it. We have an options screen here, actually a fair amount of options. You can turn voices on and off, you can turn off the screen shake, you can change your camera position, your sound sliders, whether or not your radar is fixed on your enemy and you, or just stays in place, and the difficulty of the arcade mode. There's also completely remappable button controls. I've only done one custom remapping, which is this one down here, and a quick chat for multiplayer games, but I haven't actually been able to find any games with this, and, you know, surprise, surprise. There's not going to be anyone playing this. This game's been out for like a year at this point. At least in Japan. This one is coming west, but not on Vita. It's coming west on PlayStation 4. As of my recording this, they have just put out an English trophy list. So, I imagine it's not too far away, but, well, we'll see. So, we have a lot of different options in the menu here, but most of them are pretty self-explanatory. The one down the very bottom is your in-game manual. I'm not going to bother showing it, but basically it looks like one of those manuals that you get in every Vita game on the live area screen. You can save replays and replay them, obviously, but they, I haven't done that yet. I haven't quite figured out what, how you're supposed to save them. So this is your play record. As you can see here, I've been playing this for about 3 hours, pretty close to it. And there's also, individual character stats. I haven't played all of them, but I have played a few of them, and while they are different characters, overall, you know, they have different attacks and they vary in their strategies. The base gameplay is pretty simple to understand and not particularly varied, although, you know, it's a fighting game, what do you expect? And this is your game completion list, your trophies, and your ungotten trophies. Makes enough sense. So there's something here on this option that I'm not going to show just yet called Tension Customize, and there's a reason why I'm not going to show it yet because this relates to the gameplay. So we have all of our regular modes from here on up. So we have a training mode, which is about what you expect for a fighting game, a tutorial, which is just, the tutorial just shows you all the different moves and their button inputs. It doesn't really go any more in depth into that, like with character moves and stuff, which doesn't really matter, mainly because everybody uses the same control scheme. It would just be nice if there was a little, like, you know, here's how to use this character, here's how to use this character. This is your network. I think this game lets you go online and play against other people, but I'm not exactly in a position to do that right now, and as I said, this game's been out for ages. There's no way I'd find anyone online. Survival mode, you just fight as many dudes as you can get a hand on. This is battle mode, where you just set your individual AIs and your characters and whatever, and you just have a one-off fight. Then you have Sky Adventure, which is the game's secondary mode, but really it's just a bunch of individual challenges. And this is the arcade mode, where you fight against 10 of the game's AI in a row. That's more or less it. There's not even a boss fight, as far as I can tell, so we're going to spend the majority of the time in Sky Adventure, just because it's the only mode that's even remotely different to what you expect in this. I think we'll go with, this is one of the only characters I can remember the name of, by the way. Sakuya Izayoi? Is that how you pronounce it? I hope it is. So if you have triangle, it actually comes up with something interesting. There is an English name for this, I just can't remember it for the life of me because it's annoyingly difficult to pronounce. And the general idea of these things here, these are all sort of, you know, advantage, disadvantage swaps. So this one here, for example, I do more damage, but I recharge slower. I think that's what that translates to. These 3 lines all relate to a specific stat. Like the first line is power, the second line is speed, and the third line is techniques, like spirit. They call it spirit, but really it's techniques. So, yeah, you can pick any of these 3 that you like, and there are also 2 different sets of attacks for each character, so you can set up a different set of these whenever you want, which is nice. You unlock more of them by playing through Sky Adventure, and by finishing the game in arcade mode with any character. So, that makes enough sense, I suppose. Let's go and have a look around. So, this is Sky Adventure, and it is a really basic branching system. You finish levels and you can go along the lower branch, finish levels along with their special challenge, excuse me, finish levels along with their specific challenge, and you get to proceed to the upper branch. And generally the idea is you just want to get to as far towards the end of this tree as you possibly can. Pretty simple stuff. The challenges are relatively simple. Don't use your Climax trigger. Don't go below 50% health or beat them within 2 minutes. You get the general idea. So let's go and play an early stage. So the requirement on this one here is to beat it before the clock hits 150. I believe the default clock is 300, so I'll have 2.5 minutes. But considering I've already beaten the stage, it's not like it matters. So let's just go hop straight in, shall we? The loading times are a little weird. You want to get out of the menus as fast as you possibly can, because if you stay around in them for too long, it'll drop you into a 15-second loading screen. It's a little odd. So anyway, away we go. This is Touhou Sky Arena, Matsuri Climax. I was going to try and come up with a joke that was like foot-equipped gardening tool, but for the life of me, I can't figure out a good joke to save my life. So this kind of looks like Gundam. Like, I know I feel weird about comparing every like third-person action game like this to Gundam, but it's the best reference I have, so I apologize if that pisses you off. But this game has a fair few differences to Gundam, which I can appreciate. So here's how the game works. You move around with the analog stick, obviously. You can fire off shots using the square button, and you can fire off melee attacks with the triangle button. You can do 3 melee attacks normally, but your tension will determine what exactly you can do, and we'll get to that. There is the ability to charge your shots. You can also hold square and triangle, and this will do a charged spell. You can also tap them to do a regular spell. If you press triangle and circle, you can do an EX spell, and the EX spells are completely different, so don't go expecting them to be a relatively similar thing. Like, for example, Sakuya's EX spell is a spell that will freeze time, not so much freeze time, freeze the enemies, like make them frozen in time, more or less. You can see the bloody clocks. And once you've done that, you can beat the shit out of them. Everybody's got a different set of spells, shots, and just, well, general everything. You do also have the ability to do what is basically a combo cancel. So if the enemy's got you like in a melee combo, you can hit all 4 face buttons at the same time to do what's basically a combo break, I assume. There's a name for it, I know there is. But you can also do it while the enemy's just standing nearby, which I just did. And if you do it at exactly the right time, it might scare them and cause like a attack power up. It also makes you invincible for a little bit. So the tension is where things start getting really interesting. If I hit X and square like I just did and missed completely because, you know, I'm a terrible shot. If you have high tension, you hit X and square, that will do your high tension ability. And then, when you're in the Climax mode, hit X and circle, that will do your Climax ability. I just got fucked up because I wasn't actually focusing on the game. Climax and High Tension are both extremely powerful. Like, they are really, really damn good if you can actually get the hit in. Yeah, we'll fight this one and then I'll go swap characters. But yeah, they are both intensely powerful if you can get them to hit, but they are quite hard to hit, which is why I recommend, at least with Sakia, throwing out an EX spell if you can before going for a High Tension or a Climax attack. It's definitely the best thing you can do. You do also have the ability to go up and down using the shoulder buttons, and if you double tap them, you will do a charge move. You can also use the X button to do evades and just general dodges. So the general, oh yeah, you've also got the circle button, which is your block. However, your block does need to charge, and I completely screwed up that block. Right. But yeah, I don't actually use block that much in this game because not only is it directional, it freezes you in that direction and it recharges. Everything in this game recharges. You need to wait for it all to recharge before you can use it again. So you do need to be quite wary of your resources. Yeah, as you can see, kind of hard to hit people. Very hard to hit people. Freeze. High tension. Gotcha. And there goes like a... That was a lot less health than I thought it would be. You can actually increase your base damage using the bloody customized spheres, but anyway, as I was saying, you do have to keep an eye on your resources. Your resources are very important in this game. There are some other controls I haven't gone over, like you can change who you're locked onto and just unfreeze your lock-on so you can go into a completely different, direction if you like. But the main mechanic that I want to talk about right now is the tension. You can see that tension bar up the top there. The tension bar is definitely the most interesting part of this game because it's tied with the music. You see, when the music hits a specific low or high point, that determines when the tension comes in. So, it's a bit weird trying to listen to the music in this game because I've actually got the music on, I think it's this one? Nope, I just quit the fucking battle. Shit. No, that wasn't the battle, the right one at all, but... I've actually got the music turned up and the voices turned down and it's still bloody loud. So it's actually kind of hard to tell exactly when the music kicks into high gear, which doesn't really matter, mainly because they, for whatever bloody reason, they make it so that you have like a huge on-screen display of when it goes into high tension and when it goes into climax. So... it feels a little bit weird because I can see this working really well just as a presentation sort of thing where you physically hear the music get faster and you can tell that it's building up to something, and it just doesn't seem to happen in this game because all the other sounds just completely override it. It's actually kind of disappointing, but at the same time the actual system does work well enough as is. Oh look, it's Reimu. I'm gonna beat the shit out of Reimu because he's boring. Someone's probably going to go off me for saying that. So yeah. The tension system. As you can see up the top there, as it goes through the song, it'll go into different points of tension, and that determines when you can use not only your high tension and climax abilities, but it also determines when you can use it also determines when you can do things like higher combo melee attacks. When you're in high tension or climax mode, you can do more melee attacks than you normally would be able to. You can also... There are also a couple of other things that it does, but I wasn't able to actually translate the manual properly, so I don't really know off the top of my head. I'm getting wiped out here. Mainly because Reimu there actually has 3 of those weird orbs equipped, so... I'm not doing too well with the strategizing side of things, I must say. But yes, the game itself, though, is really quite engaging because you do have a lot of room to maneuver. You have plenty of potential tactics, and every character has a different way of going about things, like Sakia is very good at melee combat. this lady here, whose name I do not know to save my life. I'm not very good at anything. Nah, I just don't know how to use it. She's also got a big fuck-off laser, as you can tell. But yeah, all the characters feel significantly different, and there's nothing in the way of a particularly bad character, at least as far as I can tell. I've been using as many people as I can, and they all seem relatively workable, all things considered. I didn't actually mean to activate that again there. I guess that was just some really good timing on my part. But yeah, the actual action is pretty damn good. You've got plenty of things to work with, like you've got combo breakers, you've got perfect blocks and perfect dodges, you've got all sorts of things like that. It's got all of the stuff you would expect from a high-speed action game along the lines of this one, more or less, right? Like, you get the general idea. And the game itself is very challenging. It is quite difficult to keep up with the enemies in this game, mainly because it moves really fast, and then you've got bitches like her who can do a bloody it's literally a teleport behind you move. Nothing personal, kid. It's dumb, but I like it. There's a fair bit of variety in the enemies you will be facing off against in this game. Damn it! I was so close. Look at that. You can't even see her health bar anymore. Back to the main menu. Alright, we'll swap characters again because I don't actually like her that much. Let's go with the absolutely adorable girl with the heterochromia going on. She's actually pretty cool. She's got a giant umbrella with an eye and a tongue. You can't go wrong. So let's just fight whoever this is. The goal is to keep my HP above 50%, but considering I've already unlocked the higher branch, it doesn't really matter that much. I just need to try and beat the ever-loving bejesus out of her, because that's just how you do these things. But yeah, the actual game itself, it's good fun. It's it's high-paced, it doesn't feel unfair. I need to learn how to use the block more, mainly because it is actually pretty reliant on using the block. Good night. Walked right into it, didn't you, bitch? Is that meant to be, I don't remember her fucking name. All I know her as is a woo. Is that a woo? Missed. Of course I did. Didn't miss that. Cool. Generally, you want to be very careful around Climax time, mainly because they actually don't, the AI doesn't actually use Climax that much. Sometimes it'll use high tension, but Climax is just something that doesn't seem to be immensely familiar with. Eat shit. So yeah, it is actually a really fun game. The action is fast-paced, the controls are good, and it doesn't, like, I'm not going to say that the game is unfairly balanced or anything like that. It's enjoyable. They haven't done anything in particular wrong with it, in that sense, right? Like, there's nothing that seems overly broken or anything like that. Maybe spamming high tensions is a bit much, but still, it's not that bad. Get out of the way. Get out of the way, get out of the way. Eat charge shot. I just need to learn how to shield more and beat the ever-loving crap out of everybody who gets in my way. And the game itself is actually pretty good on the performance as well. Like, with all these effects running around, with like 3-4 people on the field, the game doesn't seem to get too bad with the performance. Nope, I fell for that one. Come here. Ow. Break out and... Come on, I've got to win at least one. There we go. Butt shot. And I'll give it a lot of credit for running so well and having all those different effects. It actually looks really good as well. Like, the overall presentation of the game is actually pretty impressive. They've got some really nice character art going on here. Like, there's not one of these characters here who looks particularly bad, although I've got to say the eyes being almost identical for all of them is a little odd, I must say. We'll just pick a couple of these at random. It's not like it matters much. You can see down there what they all actually do. I just haven't put in the effort to translate all of them, because half the time it doesn't make any bloody sense anyway, because I don't know the proper names of any of the mechanics. There is a story in arcade mode, but it's literally just lines of text. So there's nothing to it whatsoever, other than just, you know, your typical doujinshi style spin-off story. So there's really not much in the way of plot or anything like that to talk about. And yeah, as I've said already, the technical performance of the game is pretty well done. It seems to run really well without much issue. I don't have that big of a problem with it. In fact, I don't really have a problem with it at all, do I? Tried the high tension, got my shit kicked in for it. That's about what I expected in all honesty. But you really are trying to... There we go. This is, Remelia Scarlet? Is that the right person? Why do I know all the names of these fucking Touhou whores? Nah, that's not nice. Why do I know all the names of these Touhou girls? It makes no sense. I completely missed that spell. I think the best idea would just be to stay back, because, getting in close really hasn't been working out too well for me, I gotta say. Ow. Mess with the ball, get the laser beam in the face that didn't actually get hit in the face because... Damn, okay. Shit kicked in. Let's go and pick another character, shall we? There is one thing I don't like about this gameplay though, at least in Sky Adventure. You don't see this in the... Let's go with her, she's adorable. There's one thing you don't actually see in arcade that you do see in Sky Adventure, and that is 2-on-2 fights. Yes, really, they expect you to fight not 2-on-2, 2-on-1 fights. You're alone. It's kind of unfair, because considering that you can only focus your attacks on one person at a time, it just seems a bit over the top. At least with Gundam Versus, Extreme Versus Force, whichever one you are playing at the moment. The general problem with this game is that you can't focus on two people at once because you just get your shit kicked in. Like so. Seriously. Seriously, it's like just getting your... It's like just getting the floor wiped with you. They have less health as far as I can tell to try and make up for it, but God almighty, it's actually really freaking hard to actually take two people on at once in this game. I've fought several of these fights with several characters, and I haven't even come close to beating one of them yet. No, that's a lie. I've beaten one. I've beaten one, and it was one of the easiest ones. So, yeah, it's not great. I mean, I can use the up analog stick to change who I'm locked onto, but considering how fast shit moves in this game, I'd be changing lock-ons constantly. So it's not the best place to have a change lock-on button, I must say. Still, you can do 2-on-2 fights, and... Ow. Yeah, you can definitely do 2-on-2 fights. Honestly, I'm not even sure what that move is supposed to do. It doesn't seem to hurt or anything. Yeah, I just walk and nothing happens? They might have taken some damage. Yep, and I missed the climax. And I'm gonna get my shit kicked in. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to happen. No climax again? Oh no, I actually... Oh, I got both... Oh no, just the one. And... That's the end of me, because I'm gonna get... Yep, I'm gonna get his as soon as I come... No, I haven't made it out. Why? That's so strange. Usually I don't make it out at all. No, there we go. Had to happen eventually. Really not doing so well, am I? Let's back out and pick another character. Might as well. Marisa! I'll give him credit for having some really nice loading backgrounds, actually. This one? Why not? But yeah, overall, the game is actually pretty enjoyable. It's maybe a little bit slow. Like, the health bars are pretty long, and they give you like 5 minutes per fight, which seems like a bit too much. Considering that I'm kind of used to fighting games where the timers are usually no longer than 100 seconds, it can feel a bit of a long one. But the action's good. It seems pretty fairly balanced. It plays a hell of a lot better than bloody Burst Battle did. It has a fair amount going for it. I enjoy the high speed and the maneuverability of it, and it's nicely put together. Yeah, I had fun playing it. I've had this on my Japanese Vita for like 6 months. I just never had the opportunity to get around to it until now. Ow. You bitch. Oh, come on, Marisa. Vita senseless. That's the way. I like the way it does the tension, even though the music really could do to be a little bit more extreme on either end to try and, you know, make it a little more obvious when you're going into low and high tension. And ow. But overall, the actual fighting gameplay is pretty good. There's a fair amount of variety. The actual, like, shooting and attacking and all that all feels pretty good. And I'm having a good time with it. I liked it a hell of a lot better than I did bloody Burst Battle. It feels better balanced, better paced, and has a generally good set of action to it. Took a few hits there, but I gave them right back. Well, that was a miss, but she wandered right back into it. Good job, girl. Ow. Well, I'm not sure what else there is to say about it. It's good. God, I can't remember how much this cost me, but... No, I got it on sale. Right, so, I actually got it pretty cheap, I remember. But... if you ever get the opportunity to play it, even if it's the PlayStation 4 version, it's worth your time. It's a fun little fighting game. It's got some nice atmosphere to it. Well, there's a victory animation for you. Oh, I even got the special objective. Ain't that something? And I immediately unlocked 2 more 2-on-1 battles. For God's sake, let's do 1 more. Who am I going to pick as a character this time, though? Rainmu, you, why not? Let's have a look-see. Yeah, that one will do. Something simple so I don't get my shit kicked in for my last thing.
Ready, go!
Just trying to think of the words I'd use to describe this. Like, yeah, the pace is good, and just the general balancing is right. There's just a word that I would use to describe this that I can't for the life of me think up right now. It's just intense enough, I suppose. Eight pentagram, apparently. That's kind of silly, right? Tried to freeze time on me there and screwed it up massively. Yeah, probably shouldn't stay too close to her in melee distance. Yeah, definitely more fun than bloody burst battle. Why didn't they localize this one? Like, seriously, this one would have actually done alright in comparison to the other one. Also, what is it about the Touhou, like, fighting style games that aren't the, like, outright 2D fighting game ones? What is it about them being the flippin'... What was I about to say? What is it about them, being these weird, like, 3D fighting games, except for the ones that are just the flat-out, regular old 2D fighting ones? I've lost next to no health. That's so freaking weird. Since when am I competent? Hang on, break out and... Yeah, went out of tension before I could put in the combination. Awesome. Missed me. Missed her. We're in Climax now, and I got her. Awesome. That'll be the end of that. Die. And apparently that earned me a trophy. Awesome. So yeah, that was a look at Touhou Sky Arena Matsuri Climax. High speed, high action, not boring, pretty well balanced. Enjoyable fighting game style fun. If you have the opportunity to play it, I'd tell you to go play it because it's a good time. That's more or less it. Like, seriously, the theme is pretty well done. It runs well enough for the Vita at least. I imagine the PS4 version will run just fine. And it doesn't have that much in the way of modes, but at least it has some content in the way of Sky Adventure and arcade mode. And just while I'm here, you can, as I said before, customize the tension, which is literally you change where the song goes into high tension for climax. You change where it goes into high tension climax and climax finisher, which is an interesting way of going about things. You can do this for every song in the game, and there's a bunch of controls down here. But yeah, the game is good. It's got a good pace, good balance, and it's enjoyable action fun. And that's really all you can ask for, really, in a game like this. So there you go. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.